You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 268, your personalized prescription for overcoming undesirable outcomes. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, breakup coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. I am sending you so much love. I wonder what's going on with the world at this time when this podcast episode releases. I wonder if I'm liking or loving motherhood. I am wondering how you're doing. What's the state of the world? At this point, we might have even new presidents, right? I think so. Yeah, I'm just curious. What's the world going to look like and feel like this will release in November or December, I think, of 2024. Just blows my mind. We're so far ahead with the podcast. So today we're going to talk about undesirable results. We'll talk about it in the sense of getting over your ex, but this really applies to everything in life. It applies to building your bigger and better life. It applies to every category of your life. We're talking about undesirable results, undesirable outcomes. I'm going to say results and outcomes a lot in this episode. I'm just going to forewarn you. But I want to talk to you about when you have results you don't like. We're going to talk about ownership over those results that you don't like, because I was reminded the other day that thought work never lies. It reminds me of the episode way back in the day. I recorded an episode called The Quality of Your Thoughts Determines the Quality of Your Life. And I had this epiphany moment after doing thought work for years, right? I'm a coach. I do this every day. I was like, oh, snap. I'm being reminded, if I feel like I'm living a low quality life, look at the thoughts that I'm thinking. And it was so they were absolutely correlated. Low quality thoughts equal to low quality life. High quality thoughts gave me a high quality life. So this is similar, but I want to talk about more tangible outcomes, results, and deliverables. Okay. Now, it has always been and will always be that your thoughts create your feelings. Those feelings fuel your behavior or lack of behavior / action. And those behaviors create the results that you have in your life. Always and forever. It's never something outside of you that determines your results in life. You can always see where your results are coming from, whether they are desirable or undesirable, okay? So if the results you have in life are not matching what you'd like your results in life to be, there is a clear formula, clear prescription to understand what is creating those results and how to change them. So today, I want to use the example of if you're not over your ex and you wish that you were, I want you to take a moment and look at what you're doing that is creating the result of, I am not over my ex. That's a result, not over this person. Okay? Now, this requires ownership. It requires responsibility, and it requires us to be honest with ourselves, which, my friends, I'm saying this as a participant, isn't always easy. However, it is extraordinarily rewarding because the moment you take responsibility for a result is the moment you will guarantee yourself that outcome when you do it. Okay? And that is a beautiful thing. When we take ownership and responsibility and we're honest with ourselves, we actually get a beautiful reward of realizing I can actually create this result myself, no matter what my external circumstances say, no matter what my external, world looks like. We are always responsible for our outcomes in life, not anything outside of us, not anything we don't have control over. And this is a common misconception that too many of us human beings here on earth have subscribed to. And it's a painful misconception, to be quite honest, because when we do that, we live a life where we're feeling out of control over it, right? We feel like it's something external that is it's like it reminds me of suffocation. It reminds me of feeling tied down, locked in. And here's the thing, I can always tell if I am not in ownership of my results. If I find myself saying, I'm trying everything, or I've done this and this and this, and I'm still not getting X, Y, and Z. It sounds really like whiny or complainy or a little blamey. And I'm saying that, again, as a participant, not preaching to you. This is stuff that I have done and I've noticed in myself. So like I said, let's use get over your ex as an example. So let's say your current undesirable outcome is I'm not over my ex yet. You have to get honest with yourself and ask, what am I doing or not doing that is creating the result of not being over my ex? And so perhaps you're trying all these things without believing in them. You're outsourcing this problem to others. You're complaining, blaming, resisting moving forward. You're not changing your perceptions. You're not questioning your beliefs. You're worrying about your past, worrying about your future, ruminating about your ex. You're not redirecting your thinking, but talking about it maybe, but not doing it. Perhaps you're participating in beating yourself up and negative self-talk and why I just can't get over it already. Perhaps you're not learning the get over your ex framework, or you think you know the get over your ex framework, but you haven't worked it, right? You're not asking questions or getting help or getting coached. You're procrastinating work. You're not journaling each day. You're not prioritizing the work. You're not listening to your intuition. You let your mind run the show. You don't change the quality of your thoughts or your stories, and you're not focused on reducing desire or attachment. Those are just some examples, right? So perhaps you're participating in all of those actions. And then you can look at, what feelings or what major feeling is driving me to show up that way. And for example, perhaps it's resistance. I'm feeling resistance, so this is how I show up. This is the feeling of resistance is fueling the action and behavior of this behavior that I'm participating in, these actions that I'm participating in. And then you can look at what thought, idea, or story is creating that experience of resistance for myself, right? What am I thinking that's making me feel resistant about getting over my ex? And an obvious one here that I've seen before is the thought, I don't actually want to get over my ex, or it's going to be really hard, or it's going to take me forever. All of those thoughts could potentially create resistance. And when you're feeling resistant, you show up the way that we just described. Okay? And it's so fascinating to see that, because when you see it all laid out, you can see it never lies. The thought work will never lie. It shows you, oh my God, this that I've been living in, this thought, feeling, action pattern that I've been living in actually is creating the result that I don't want. And the thing is, this will look different for each of you. It's your own personalized prescription to help you see what is creating your current undesirable result. And from there, you'll know exactly what you need to work on, right? You'll be able to work backwards, and you can create a prescription of what you do desire as your result. So who do I need to be? How does the version of me who's over his or her ex act? What does he or she do or not do, right? The behaviors that I do need to participate in, the actions I do want to take are, I want to reduce desire and attachment. I'm going to figure out how to reduce desire and attachment. I'm going to believe that it can and will happen for me. I need to put my all into the process. I need to believe in the process and in myself. I need to know the process like the back of my hand and change the quality of my thoughts. I need to believe in my future. I'm going to talk nicely to myself, and I'm going to talk myself up, and I'm going to show up for myself each day, putting at least 10 minutes into my progress. I'm even going to sign up for the Get Over Your Ex course, right? And be able to do all of these things. And then you can ask yourself, what feelings drive that kind of behavior or action? And perhaps it's relief. I think when people feel relieved or calm, it really creates beautiful action to just get to work. It's less drama and more data. So let's say we think and believe that the feeling that's going to drive action like that is relief. Then we get to look at what belief about my life or myself does the version of me who's over his or her ex believe. What is it that I can or already believe now that creates that emotional response? And thoughts that come to mind for me around relief is, I'm doing this. I'm not going to stop until I get what I want. This will work for me because I decide it works for me. That's relieving to know that I'm just going to do this, that I'm going to not give up until I get there. There's no pressure, there's no timing, there's nothing that has to get done, but I'm doing this for me. I will work on this for me, and I'm deciding that this is going to work out for me. And I want you to try this, right? Because the examples that I gave here right now, if they don't land for you, that is totally fine. You have to come up with your own perfect prescription for this. All of my clients do this. They work through their own perfect, personalized prescription. But you've got to see what actions, feelings, and thoughts have been creating your current results, if you like them or don't, and then figure out your personalized prescription for the results that you do desire in life. Now, if you're over your ex and you want to do this with something that's specific to, your bigger and better life, do it. And here's a pro tip, right? We've got to get specific. So make sure that if you're doing it around your bigger and better life, you're not just putting in the result, you're not just saying my result is I have a bigger and better life. What specifically is a result that you don't like that is associated to your bigger and better life? Is it the money that you have in your bank account? Is it the amount of debt you have? Is it the job that you have? Is it that you're single? Get specific, because the more specific you are with your problems or your undesirable results, the easier it is to tackle them. And sometimes when we are too broad, it's hard to nail down something that doesn't feel like whimsical or too woo-woo. So for example, I'm not over my ex even might be too broad. What specifically makes you feel not over your ex? Is it that you think about this person X number of times a day? Is it because you flinch when you see this person's name? Is it because you compare yourself to their new partner? Get specific, and that will help you in a way more specific way when it comes to creating tangible next steps for how to get your desired result. I'm all about tangible next steps and how-tos. Now, the last note that I want to make about this is that no one else, I promise you, no one else can create results in your life for you. You've got to take that ownership. You've got to take that responsibility. It always has been and always will be you who creates the results in your life. And knowing this and implementing this into your life will be a game changer. Never relying on someone else for a certain result will change the entire trajectory of your life. Learning to create what you want no matter what is a skill you want in and out of a relationship. It doesn't mean you do everything on your own or by yourself. It has nothing to do with quote unquote getting good on your own. It's learning that it's not the things outside of your control, like the economy or the state of the world or who's in your life or not in your life, that control your life, that create your results. It is always you. And that is going to create and set you up for non-attachment when you're in a partnership. And really, even if you decide that you don't want to be in a partnership, even when you're not in a partnership, you won't feel at the effect of things you don't have control over. And when you learn this skill, it frees you up from a construct that many humans are stuck in, that you don't have to be. I'm so excited for you. I hope you try this out. I hope you do this activity. You have got this. I love you so much. I hope you're having a beautiful week, and I am going to talk to you next time.
If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.